Hey YouTube, it's me, Brandon Colonel again. The next video that I've got for you is not truly an unboxing in the sense of brand new knife, but unboxing from a trade that I recently did. And it's got something in common with these two knives. Now, this knife a little less than anything except for one aspect of it, the blade. And then this knife has a little bit more in common with it. If I'm not mistaken, little thing to do with the pocket clip, and also the company in general, if I'm not mistaken, has something to do with the company that makes this. Now, I don't know exactly the specifics about that because I just heard it from somebody who commented on another video of mine. But yeah, so let's get into the package and see what's inside here. Trying to save as much of the cardboard as I can because I like to use it for testing later, and I don't have all that much cardboard at the moment. Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to cut through that one little flap. Well, looks like the seller at least went for a couple extra tactical packaging peanuts. It's actually more than I did. Okay, yeah. So, good job on the seller. Or trader, I guess. And here we go. The Microtech DOC. That is a famously hard detent. I was actually expecting far worse on that pocket clip. It's actually a really good edge. As far as at least the polishing goes. I don't know about the cutting performance yet, but that's actually a really good edge from the person who sent it to me. He was saying that he does his own edges, so I wasn't exactly sure just how well that would come out, because let's just say I don't exactly trust anybody else's edges. So let me get a piece of paper real quick, because I wasn't exactly expecting a decent edge like this right out of the box. Let's try some old math problems. Now this may just simply be the new setup giving me a little bit of difficulty, but it's actually not bad. It does have a couple of hiccups in there, but that may just possibly be from use. But we're not exactly rating the seller's sharpening abilities. So, knife overall, impressions. The pocket clip definitely isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. It's actually pretty much the exact same as the Guardian Tactical Helix pocket clip. It's literally the exact same thing. About the same little duck bill going up. Pretty much the same all around on the pocket clip, which just gives further credence to the fact of these were started by the same people. It's not exactly the smoothest. That is a very strong detent though. Not exactly stronger than I like, because I actually love a super rock hard detent. But yeah, that's actually pretty good though. Here, I'm going to pause it right here real quick because I want to see if I can raise this setup just a bit to give me a little bit more room. Okay, there we go. Got it raised up just a bit so that way it's a little bit easier to keep everything actually in focus. Yeah, that is a phenomenally hard detent, but I actually really like it. Now, as far as this particular knife goes, it's one that I've wanted for quite some time, actually. But I never did pull the trigger on it because of a couple of things. First and foremost, this is an aluminum frame. And if you're paying $300 plus, I really want to see something other than aluminum. So that's one thing that I really don't care about. And one of the reasons why I've never actually gotten a high quality OTF. I really wanted to get a Microtech OTF. However, the problem is that they're all made out of aluminum. And the only ones that are made out of anything better are all the custom Marfiones. So that really kept me away from Marfione for the longest time. Then there was the whole Microtech ZT debacle, and I kind of just swore off Microtechs even though I've never actually bought one. So, wow, that is not, there we go. That doesn't really want to come out with a thumb stud. I've got to really practice on that because I like using a thumb stud if it has one. But anyways. So when it came to this one, this is one of the few Microtechs that I truly wanted. Like beyond all possible belief, really wanted. But because of the aluminum handles, and also these TrackTech inserts, I just couldn't justify the purchase. No matter what I did, no matter how much I tried to justify it in my mind, I couldn't possibly do it. So, just with all that in mind, I never bought it. But then I finally came across a trade. I saw somebody who was saying that they were willing to sell it for $200 some odd, or they were open to pretty much any trade. So I popped up with a particular trade of mine, a knife that really wasn't seeing any pocket time lately. I've found myself wanting slimmer knives lately, and that really just doesn't fit the bill anymore. So I really haven't carried it. So I decided to put it up on the chopping block just to see what happens. If it didn't go, well, it didn't go. Well, long story short, less than a few hours later, and we already had a sealed deal, and I was going the next morning to mail it off. And now, a couple days later, I have a shiny new knife. As far as this particular one goes, it actually feels pretty good and solid in the hand. Now, it's not exactly like I was expecting aluminum to feel any cheaper. Metal's metal. It doesn't really have all that different of a feel in hand. Maybe a little bit of difference in tactility, something like that. So it's not going to feel all that different. However, being aluminum, I'm really not going to trust it to do as much hard, intense, heavy work as I would even a little Kaiser, which is all titanium. Let me actually get a couple of knives over here because I actually changed desks because I've got less stuff on this one. But so, just looking at a couple other knives, this little teeny tiny Kaiser, I would trust it to do more work than this. Now, granted, there's probably people out here who have put this thing through the ringer and it didn't fail for even the slightest little thing. Good on them. Personally, I'm going to trust this to do hard, heavy, intense manual labor a lot more because it is solid titanium. Titanium is definitely stronger than aluminum. Something like this is even thicker. I'm going to trust it to do a heck of a lot more. This is full carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is stronger than steel. If I'm not mistaken, it might even be stronger than titanium. At which point, I'm definitely going to trust this thing to do a crap ton more work. In fact, this actually has been put through a lot more work. So this is while I'm not exactly going to be afraid to use it, say that I'm going out to do yard work or something like that, I'm probably not going to go out to help cut down any trees or anything like that. Well, don't get the wrong impression. I'm not exactly cutting down trees with my knives. There are occasions where I do some pruning work with my knives, and there has been the odd occasion where I use a knife to help cut down a tree in the sense of maybe just some fine whittle work in there to help weaken down certain points. I've actually done that before when I didn't really have anything else. So, not exactly looking for ways to use this to cut down a tree, but yet I have done stuff like that in the past. I'm not going to pick this one to do it, because that aluminum frame just inspires no confidence, at least for me. And again, more initial impressions. The stonewash on here really doesn't cover up this particular area of grind lines. With Microtech being touted as some of the best in the industry for fit and finish, I know this is used, but that's not a sign of use right there. That's a sign of grind lines that weren't covered up. Now, as far as the billboarding that I've heard of, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I've actually seen it, now granted, being used, this is going to be a lot more faded. However, again, I was expecting it to be a lot worse. The Death on Contact logo you can barely even see. Let me see if I can even get that into focus. Yeah, that's not even coming up on camera. Yeah, I can barely even see it in person, let alone make it come up on camera. But as far as the similarities to ZT, it's just the fact of this is, in fact, the LMAX version. They did, if I'm not mistaken, switch to a CPM 154 on later editions of it. But this is indeed the LMAX. It's actually notated down here. Let me see if I can get that in focus. Come on. For whatever reason, this thing likes to focus. There we go. It's at the wrong angle to see it, but yeah. This is indeed LMAX. So the seller described this as pretty much like new without a box. There are a couple of marks on the blade here that keep on showing up whether the camera's in focus or not. But the handle shows virtually no signs of wear except on the pivot right here. So, I was expecting a little bit better seeing as he said like new in box, but nah, I still am getting a used knife. It has been sharpened, it's been used, but I do expect a little bit more from like new in box. So, this isn't exactly a review, just initial impressions. Long story short, this will be seeing pocket time today. I might not even really touch up the edge. I may do that a little later today, who knows. It's just all contingent on what really happens. So, I'm going to test out the edge just a little bit after I get off, but yeah. This probably won't see too much sharpening, because that's actually a really good mirror polish that I don't feel the need to screw up unless it actually needs to be screwed up. So, review to come on this much later after I've actually tested the limits of Microtech's LMAX, which people tell me is absurdly better than Zero Tolerance has ever done with LMAX, let alone with steels that they actually know how to do. So, review to come on this later. As always, YouTube, stay safe.